transforming your Excel pricing to a pricing engine. So what we see within organization is that we need to move the organization from one position, of course, to the other. And what are the main drives then for that transformation, and what are the benefits that we get from that? So the first one, of course, is that we see within organizations that when it comes down to pricing decisions and there is not enough data to make a decision, that it is mostly driven on gut feeling and feelings that people have within the pricing process in the organization. And this leads also to discussions that resonate to feelings, and that also makes sure that there's a lot of disagreement in the team when it comes down to pricing. When you are able to move the gut feeling pricing decisions towards more data-driven and supported by machine learning or even AI decisions, it can help an organization to make more decisions and do more quickly, but also being able to install the learning loops that come out of those decisions, because it's measurable why these decisions are made. And that really helps a organization to move from the old situation towards the new situation. Beside that, what we see is that within Excel, we often see a cost-based plus strategy. Of course, we can have discounts, rebates, stuff like that going on in the B2B, or maybe in the B2C that they have a promotion that is computed in Excel. But what we try to achieve in the new way of pricing is that one product can have multiple price strategies depending on the data maturity of the product. So a product that has, for instance, a lot of transactions, we can learn from a price elasticity perspective, for instance, what the ideal price position is. But if it's more a commodity product that has a high velocity of sales, we can make a combination, for instance, to learn from the competitive field, but also to learn from the elasticity models that run behind that same product. So taking into consideration multiple price strategies that are depending on the data maturity of that specific product or products that you have within the organization, we are able to move organizations from a single price strategy to multiple pricing strategies on one product. Next to that, of course, as Arjen already addressed, if we look at the value chain, we see the movement of prices differ depending on where your organization is in that value chain. So sometimes slow movements are, of course, required, or is just how the market operates. But if you have the possibility to become more dynamic or more agile, or as we look in the past, like what we are experiencing now and what we have experienced during COVID-19, is that when the market becomes more volatile, it's not always a decision if you want to move your price, yes or no. It's mandatory because there's so much volatility in the market that you need to change those prices. And I like the anecdote that Arjen just brought up, is that when you are forced to do multiple price changes, and that these circumstances are pushed into your organization, and your strategy and your execution is based on Excel, then the probability that an error occurs in that specific process or in that situation, of course, becomes higher. The following step is, of course, also to move from manual reports to more automatic smart insights. So once you have a pricing engine in place and you don't use your Excel learnings where you maybe can digest transactions afterwards, so maybe you want to learn more on the moment. So if you want to do that, then that is where a pricing engine can make the difference. So it can help you to generate these smart insights. When do we steer? When do we identify the margin leakage that is going on? So that is something that can be learned, that can be achieved when you install the pricing engine. The next one is, of course, static learning versus hyperlearning. So what do we do, and are humans as capable as a pricing engine to digest all the data and come up with the learnings and then reuse that in the next pricing round that we are going to execute? And this is, of course, a question that you can always ask yourself. Of course, we have capabilities together with Excel, but in general, as an assumption, what we know from scientific research is that we as humans can only work with some 7 numbers at the same time. If you look at a machine and we do multiple dimensions for a machine, that can be, of course, to a certain magnitude more than 7 what we can do as a human. So that is also good to take into account to become more a hyper-learning organization, making use of a combination of man and advanced machines or technologies that are already available. And the last one, of course, is what we see in Excel organization, is that we see that there's sometimes a really strong focus on what is currently happening within the organization. Instead of having rest in the organization, automating 95%, for instance, of the pricing process, what enables the team to free up time and focus on the strategy that needs to be deployed in the future, we see that there's too much focus on the current price process and controlling that everything is going in the right way. So this is also a nice example how the pricing engine can help you transform from a focus on the current state of the situation towards more of future focused strategy, and that you have time to execute that.